There's a sweet science to boxing.
It's to hit and not get hit.
We got some news concerning Errol Spence Jr. A lot of people have been talking about things that could have been wrong with him during the fight with Terence Crawford. Now we have a new insight on something that could have been the case. And this comes from the founder of Snack, Victor Conte. He was on Manager Marty's podcast. Go check out Manager Marty. He was on his podcast. He had an interview with him, and he was basically telling you on what he know Errol Spence did before the fight. And what Errol Spence did was something that you probably shouldn't do when you're about to go into a fight. Now, what he's saying that Errol Spence did that was stupid is that he went up too high in elevation and caused himself to get altitude sickness. Check out this clip right here with the interview on Manager Marty with Victor Conte.
Now, I'm going to say one more thing that I probably shouldn't say, because I don't want to take any credit away from Terence Crawford. But I know something that Errol Spence did before that fight that to me was extremely stupid. And that is, he got to Las Vegas, and 7 days out from the fight, he decided that he was going to go run 5 miles at Mount Charles at an elevation of 8,000 feet. You should never, ever do that without what they call acclimation. They call it a dose of low oxygen, because oxygen at 2,200 feet in Las Vegas might be 19%. But when you get up to 8,000 feet, it's probably 15 or 16%. You can develop what they call altitude sickness. So without acclimating, in other words, doing 2,500, 4,500, 6,500, 8,500, and doing exercise at low elevation, at high elevation or low oxygen, and gradually go up, you're going to get sick. It's going to hamper your performance. It's not going to be in your best interest to do that. Now, I work with a boxer. I'll tell you who he is, Brian Mendoza, who fought Tim Tszyu recently and knocked out the Towering Inferno. Okay, he's a snack fighter. He was tested for that fight, okay? He was there with the group that ran with Terence Crawford. When they got to the top, they all took a picture. And I talked to them, so I know exactly what they did, okay? That was a big mistake, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
So people are looking for what the fuck happened to Errol Spence. I just gave you a clue, okay?
Wow.
He did something not so smart.
Now, if you don't know what altitude sickness is, take a look at your screen. What is altitude sickness? Altitude sickness is the term for medical conditions that can happen when you move to a higher altitude too quickly. The higher up you go, the thinner the atmosphere gets. That means breathing in the same amount of air gives you less oxygen than at a lower altitude. Altitude sickness happens when your body has trouble adjusting to the difference in how much oxygen you're getting with each breath. Now, as we can see on the screen, some of the symptoms include headache, which is, it says this is the most common symptom, nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, fatigue, even when resting, malaise, a noticeable unwell feeling, trouble sleeping, dizziness, or lightheadedness. Vision changes. While rare, these usually indicate more severe altitude sickness and are due to blood vessel ruptures in your retinas. Now, as somebody who watched the fight and watched boxing, and I've been watching for a long time, I can tell you this. Errol Spence, and I never admitted this. I think I did on one of my videos, but I'm going to go ahead and admit it again. I'm a Crawford fan, but I'm going to be real. It did look like something was wrong with Errol Spence, but I had brushed it off as saying, oh, he probably just high and he shouldn't have been smoking. That's his fault if he smoked before the fight. But then again, now that I'm seeing this, maybe he wasn't smoking. Maybe he really was sick. Maybe it was altitude sickness. But I do know that he was compromised somehow. So this is one of them things that I'm not going to sit back and say, oh, they're trying to make excuses. I'm not going to say that with this. Because, I mean, this guy works with Terence Crawford. So I'm pretty sure he knows what Errol Spence was doing at the time, or probably knew what happened. You know, and he have no reason. He works with Terence Crawford, Victor Conte. So he have no reason to try to take anything away from Terence Crawford. He's actually giving an explanation on what could have been wrong with Errol Spence Jr. So we can't say, oh, he's just trying to make excuses. No, why would he try to make excuses for Errol Spence when he works with Terence Crawford? So he most likely wasn't trying to make any excuses. He's telling you what Errol Spence did and what he thinks could have been the case. And yes, attitude sickness is real. Does that take away from Terence Crawford? No, it doesn't. I know Terence Crawford is great. I think he's still great. And I think when Errol Spence prepare himself better this time and don't do anything stupid like Victor Conte said, I think he's still going to lose. I just think that he'll put on a better performance than he did last time.